midsummer is only 2 days hence. I don't see how you can possibly be ready, Brother Jethro.
Fear not, old friend. Formal assures me that the stage will be ready this evening, and I've never known him to be wrong. Everything will be quite all right.
Cutting things close doesn't suit me. You know that. I'm a planner. I'm a philosopher. This whole business has my humors out of balance.
There, Brother Wilport. You just let me fret about the play, and you make sure the feast is perfect. I'm especially looking forward to that hot root sun salad.
Oh, yes, quite right. There's much to be prepared. Friar Randall was concerned that the cheese and onion hogsbake was too heavy to follow the brazier leaks. He may be correct.
You see, there's far more need for your talents in the kitchen than out here. Let your old friend do what he's good at, making a fool of himself. Oh, my.
Very well, I'll take my leave. But please try to keep on schedule. You know how I worry.
Indeed I do. Sister Edelweiss, I trust William won't perish before he has a chance to taste the good friar's blackberry crumble.
Oi, now. It's hard to say. 'Tis surely a bit of blackwater fever. Now I can't remedy with some nettles and wort, but that foul temper, no, that just might be fatal.
I'm not grumpy.
No? Boy, Yoki, then why in the sharp tongue when I asked for that filthy old wing glass? The rusty old thing is reeking with mould and mire. It's likely the cause of your fever for all the fuss it's bearing.
Sorry, Grandfather. I found it in the library.
You're nayo. You drinkers as tonic, and you'll be out storming dark forest with all them's dibbins afore a moon's turned her face this way. Boy.
We're ready for Hilltop Camp, Brother Jethro. Shall we wait for you?
No need to wait, lads. Carry on, and I'll be there shortly. Thank you for your legendary healing skills, sister. As always, we are in your debt.
We? I say it's just you who be's owing moi.
Oh, I hadn't seen this in ages, and such perfect timing, dear boy. Do you know who this weird glass belonged to, William?
Honest truth, I just thought it was another trinket you'd packed away for no good reason.
Trinket? Badger waffles. This was one of the trusty tools carried by the Lilygrove Scout Corps back when Clooney the Scourge, that wretched pirate, laid siege to Redwall Abbey. And it so happens that this very thing has a role to play in the story we'll be telling for the Abbot's celebration. I've written a play to share one of my lost legends with all of Redwall. Of course, everyone knows about Matthias and Constance and Basil Staghair, but few know about the trio of brave woodlanders from Lilygrove who played a crucial role in those events. Have you ever heard of Liam or Sophia Rivermouse?
No, but, I don't suppose you could be telling me the story, since I'm bedridden and ailing, and might not live to see the play. Please?
Let's see. Where to begin? Yes, initiation. 'Twas a frozen evening in midwinter. The sky was clear but for a loosely bound fleet of easterly clouds that wore the light of twilight and had earlier that day dusted the hollows of the weathered oaks with snow. A frosty breeze stirred the heavy locks of the cypresses' winter needles, and two mice warmed their paws against the January chill. Liam and Sophia were young, ambitious, and betrothed. Both had trained hard to join the ranks of the Lilygrove Scout Corps, a rather storied group of woodland rangers who kept safe the lands betwixt Mossflower Country and the mountain walls. The one had graduated that week prior, and now it was time for the other to prove their mettle. Once initiated, they planned to wed. But that was not to be. Not yet, anyway.
Initiation night. It's finally happening. We've planned so long for this, and now that it's here, I'm not sure I'm ready.
I feel the same way. I haven't the faintest notion of what comes next. It's exciting, isn't it?
Yes, and frightening.
Alas, I am late. I hope you'll pardon it. The fiery ring of devastation needed to be refueled. I trust neither of you caught a shiver. I was sick with the wretch for my initiation. Didn't make a bit of difference, though. A scout needs to be ready, no matter the situation. So, which one of you is in the dock this fine winter evening?
It's my turn, sir, and I'm ready.
Oh, are you now? Liam, you kept our initiation rite a secret, I trust. No spoiling the surprises.
No, sir. Not a word. On my honor.
It makes me a proud mouse to see youngsters like yourself continuing with the Scout Corps. In order to become a full member of the Lily Grove Scout Corps, you must complete a series of tests to prove you've got the mettle. These are the things you've been training for the last several months, so I don't expect any surprises.
I can't wait for you to be a fully fledged scout, Soph. And guess what? I've convinced Coyle to let me oversee your trials myself. Captain Robin argued I'm too biased to give an accurate report on your skills, but I assured him I wouldn't go easy on you. So don't expect any freebies. Now, we'll start by heading to a nearby cave. It's treacherous, but nothing you can't handle. Plus, I'll be there to guide you. You'll do great. I know it. Oh, and before we go, take this. A proper scout's got to have an adventurer's journal.
I thought you were staying to guide me.
I am. But you've got to complete them on your own. Don't worry, I'll be around, even if you can't see me. All right, Soph. Follow the cave to reach each of your tasks. Ready for your first trial? All you've got to do is figure out a way to cross this gap. Psst! Your trusty slingshot might help. Great shot, Soph! Knocking the bridge over was the easy part, though. Now, onward to the next trial.
Oh, that wasn't so hard. I had no idea why I was so nervous. Or why I'm still nervous.
The mighty Sophia need not be nervous. The shining knight Liam is right at her side.
Oh, Liam.
All right, trial number 2. You've got to identify which flag your scent is passing over.
But there's no wind in this cave. How am I supposed to...
Oh, but there is. Don't you feel the cool draft? As you well know, scent travels on the wind, and wind is almost everywhere, including these caves. Pay close attention, and you'll be able to sense the wind's motion all around you. It's almost as if you can see it. Watch the direction the wind is carrying your scent, and you'll never be caught unaware by your enemies. But ignore it, and anybody might come tracking you. That's the one! Perfect pick! When you're out in the wilds, don't forget to pay attention to where your scent is being carried. Making sure your scent doesn't drift into the nose of a foe could be the difference between life or death. For your next task, you'll need to determine which of the doors have a rat hidden behind them. A fake rat, that is, and avoid them. Only one of the doors is free of any imposter. That's the one you've got to choose.
Find the rat, huh? Should be easy. Just got to use my nose.
Aha! No rat behind here.
Excellent job, Soph! You won't be a rat snack tonight. Onward to trial number 4. Here we'll be using our sniffer once again. First things first, take a good deep whiff of those peppers there. Focus on the aroma of spice. A bit pungent, slightly earthy. It's a good idea to log the scents you encounter in your scout journal for reference. Never know when you may need to sniff out the difference between a fishnet and a fellow mouse. Excellent! Hold that scent in your mind. Remember, it's written in your journal if you need a refresher. Now, we know sniffing can help us see the unseen, but it can also help us identify different scents in the air. So, pick out the candle that smells like chili peppers. Not that one. That one's a campfire scent. Also a campfire. Remember, you're looking for the chili pepper scent. Oh, you've done it again, Soph! I don't know why we're even bothering with these trials, since you're so clearly an expert already.
Well, I do have a good instructor.
You'll need to once again shimmy along the wall to reach the final trial. But be careful. This one's got a twist.
Choose wisely? What does that mean, Liam?
Your final trial is a trial of stealth. You've got to use everything you've learned so far. Don't let the rats inside see or smell you. Luckily, us mice are quite small and vermin quite dull, so you should be able to sneak through without any trouble.
So, don't get caught by the rats, and then I'll finally be a scout?
That's right, Soph. You'll be an official protector of Lilygrove.
Choose wisely? What does that mean, Liam?
Your final...
So,
That's right, Soph.
choose wisely.
Your final...
So,
That's right.
choose wisely? What does that mean?
Your final...
So,
That's right.
choose wisely? What is that?
Your final
So,
That's right.
what's all this?
Congratulations, Sophia, our newest member of the Lily Grove Scout Corps.
I passed?
And with flying colours.
Excellent work, Initiate. Excellent work. I'm quite certain I couldn't have done any better myself. If I were carrying a sack full of dibbons.
Congratulations, Initiate.
I must confess that I was of the mind that you weren't quite ready. It was Captain Robin who pushed for your somewhat expedited initiation. It would appear he saw something in you that I failed to. Until this evening, that is.
Ever since you were a Dibbin, Sophia, I thought you'd make an excellent scout, and you've never proven me wrong.
Thank you, sir. Truly, it's an honor.
Having completed your training, the official badge and equipments of office are yours to bear. A way glass, a rucksack, and, of course, the blooming lily on your jacket. It brings me great joy and a fair bit of pride to welcome you to the ancient family of the Lily Grove Scout Corps.
There's just one more thing you have to do before you can really call yourself a scout. Come with me, milady. Finally, you'll get to see Hilltop Camp and meet Rootsworth, our scout chef. He'll help you with the soup.
Soup? What's soup?
The Scouts are founded on principles of service and fellowship. As such, we crown each new initiate with cooking the Scouts' supper their first night here.
I've never been the chef, my sisters are, but I will give it everything I've got.
Having completed the various tests and tasks, Sophia found herself energized instead of weary. Yet, despite a still and restful heart, a frigid wind slowly began to pick up from the south, and the crickets stopped their song. Unknown to any in Lilygrove, a black-masted ship made landfall in secret, and the shadow of a long and iron-barbed tail crept up upon the unsuspecting village.
Welcome to Hilltop Camp, home of the Lily Grove Scouts.
Wow. It's even more amazing than you described it.
Why don't you pull out your way glass, and I'll give you the royal tour. Isn't that waterfall beautiful? You wouldn't guess when it's frozen over, but just up at its source is a hot spring. I can't wait to take you there one day. It does wonders on sore muscles after a fierce day of training. That's the main tent. It's sort of like our very own Great Hall. We use it mostly for hosting guests from neighboring scout groups. We even have badger chairs for when the Coalstripe brothers visit from out west. Isn't that waterfall beautiful? You wouldn't guess when it's frozen over, but just up at its source. Down there is our mighty talented chef, Rootsworth. Honestly, I have no idea why he chooses to cook for us humble scouts when he could be running the kitchens at Redwall. But I'm certainly not complaining. You'll be checking in with him after you've collected everything for tonight's soup. That there is the Lakeside Watchtower. Gives you a great view of camp, but not much else. The actual night watch I've mentioned is at the lookout, but that's, closed for construction tonight. Yeah. So, no peeking. those tents are where the captains sleep. Since they're in charge of keeping the night fires and beacons roaring, they've pitched their stakes by the firewood stall. Coil snores like a chorus of toads, though. I don't know how Robin even gets a wink of sleep. Those are the Scouts' overnight tents. We don't need them often, but it's a nice little getaway for long training weekends. Well, that's most of Hilltop Camp for you. Oh, and if you ever come upon an odd pile of flat stones, just take a gander through your way glass. There may be something interesting to see you wouldn't have otherwise noticed. Now then, you've got a soup to cook, don't you? Here, Rootsworth gave me this recipe for you to follow. First, you'll need to collect 3 beets from the garden. No radishes. Rootsworth was rather insistent on that part. Your sniffer can tell you the difference. Second, you'll need a cob of corn, a potato, and an onion, all which you'll find over at the obstacle course. And lastly, cheese. Apparently, Rootsworth ran out of his stock of cheese, but Fraby's got some extra by his tent. Part of initiation night is making the newest scout run around on a wild goose chase. Don't worry, it's all in good fun. Now, you'd better get searching.
Aren't you coming with?
Actually, I've got a, errand I need to run. So you'll have to finish preparing the soup on your own. If there's anything you want to talk about before I go, be sure to ask me now.
Oh my.
Are you sure that's what happened?
So, Liam, before you go...
Yes, Soph? What's on your mind?
It's like a sack of flour has been lifted off my shoulders now that I've finally passed initiation. Were you as nervous for your trials as I was with mine? My paws couldn't stop shaking.
Didn't Fraby tell you? My entire tail was stuck frozen in terror my whole initiation. Oh, he didn't quit with the jokes for a week.
I'm so excited for our celebration tonight, Liam. I only wish my father could join us.
Even though he isn't here, I know he's proud of you, Sophia.
Yes, if only my mother and sisters were as well.
I know it's hard feeling like, well, knowing your family isn't so supportive of the path you've taken in life.
I just wish they could see I'm not cut out to harvest crops all my life.
If it means anything, I'm really proud of you. And I think you're wonderful and full of bravery and compassion. Your mum and sisters will see someday that being a scout is exactly who you're supposed to be.
Just 3 days until the wedding. And right after the initiation. And everything is going to change.
Yes, but it's a good change. See, Sophia, I've been dreaming about making you my wife since the day we danced at the Name Day Festival. I'll never forget the way the roses smelled tucked behind your ear.
Now that we're both scouts and getting married, what's next?
I was thinking about us going to visit my ancestral home in Southsward, Castle Fleuret. I have such tiny figments of memory of the place, but I couldn't have been older than an infant. I want to see it now, and I want to see it with you.
Okay, so we'll go visit Fleuret. Then what? Oh, maybe we could go to the western coast. I've always wanted to smell the sea.
We can go anywhere and everywhere. Have a good night, my love.
Are you sure that's what happened? Some alternate ending.
Just kidding.
I see the sweet aroma of jam caught your nose. Well, if you happen to spot any more of those little wicker baskets of jam around, be sure to grab it. We've got a bit of a contest going on with the other scout corps.
This beet is a bit pale, but it should do. This is a carrot, and a shriveled one to boot.
This is a carrot. And a shriveled one to boot. This beet is a bit pale, but it should do. This is a carrot. And a shriveled one to boot. Is this a potato? It looks like a raisin. This beet is a bit pale, but it should do. That's all. Is this a potato? Is this? Is this? Juicy? Juicy red. This is this beet. Is this? Is this? This is a this juicy red beet, fresh from the garden.
any work to do.
A fine evening, Tessa. Could you use some help?
No. Why do you think I need help? I can do this job just as well as any beast here. I don't see you offering to help any of them.
No, I didn't mean anything by it.
Of course not. And I'm sorry for nipping. It's a big night for you two, isn't it? You and Liam, I mean. So much hard work by the both of you to get to this moment, and my sour mood strikes the shine.
Not in the least, Tessa. I'm so giddy that not even a vermin war cry could dim my spirit. And I owe a great deal to you. You have been a tremendous help.
Naturally. There are only the two of us girls up here. We need to stick together. You got cooking duty tonight. What's the plan? Soup? Twist my whiskers! For my initiation, I had to make stuffed toadstools. Do you see now what I feel put upon? If you are making soup, I have a request. I do ever so long for the taste of fish. Roasted tomatoes, grilled squash, cold meadow cream. I mean, they're all wondrous to be sure, but I long for something more hearty, something that carries all those other things, like a mum carries her wee dibbin.
I see.
What, was that too much?
No, not at all. I've just never heard someone compare their food to a baby. That's all.
When you put it that way, it was too much. Our little secret. You had to ask about me, didn't you? You remember I was always so awkward and graceless. Growing up near mice like you and Foxglove always put the jiggles in my stomach. That's why me and Cloverdown stuck to fishing. The logic of line and tackle is simple. It never changes, and there's no guessing if the day was for winning or losing.
Oh, I didn't know you felt that way.
Well, Sophia, don't hear me wrong, like, it was not a single day you ever did me wrong or chucked my tail. It was my own decision to stay out of the way, out of the eyes of mice like Brunach and his kin. I was a daily bundle of nerves and nausea where you strolled about full of poise and grace. It was intimidating, I suppose.
But here we are now. Friends, I hope.
Yes, I'd rather like that. Friends? Initiate. I mean, Sophia. You've always been so graceful and sure of yourself. Even when we were Dibbins. Do you think you could show me a few things? You know, now that we're both scouts? For my entire life, I felt out of place in my own fare, especially when it comes to, well, just about anything that requires me to keep the paws clean. I mean, listen to me. You don't even know how to speak like a civilized mouse. You'll help me along, won't you? Raby? Well, I wouldn't know the first thing about him. Why do you ask?
Ah, here's our initiate now. Glad you finally made it.
Finally indeed. The moon's full up and we haven't even started the soup. Your job is to get tonight's supper started, and we'll be making soup. Exactly what kind of soup is up to you, but let old Rootswith give ye a few pointers. Everybody has their loves and everybody has their hates. Tain't no way, no how to make everybody happy. But a smart chef can usually keep everybody fed. Go do your scrounging and come back here to see how to turn cold water into a hearty broth that'll make a badger lord weep.
I trust your betrothed left you the list of ingredients. Well, go on then. They won't gather themselves.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Have you not any work to do? I suppose on further reflection that he can be, at times, clever. Occasionally funny. Even charming. But I'm mostly guessing at this point. I hardly know him. But I'm mostly guessing at...
I'm certain a youngster... All clear.
Captain, tell me more about this jam contest.
It's a scout tradition to stash these baskets around for the finding. And not just Lillygrove scouts, mind you, but all the scout corps around Mossflower. At the end of each season, we compare our find to see who's got the most jam. And then Rootsworth bakes the winner the best pie you've ever tasted. Why, last spring, Coyle found so much jam that Rootsworth had to commission a special baking pan from the metalsmiths at Salamandastron. So, if you happen to stumble upon any, be sure to grab them. We've won 4 seasons in a row, and I'm not about to let my scouts fall behind.
The first secret to all good victuals is a proper application of salt. You learn to get that right and you'll be halfway to a Master Chief in one step.
Did you say Master Chief?
Did I? No, Master Chef. Chef. The second secret is the right and proper application of heat. Simple as that. If you can learn the narrow way between a sear and a saute, you can turn carrots into gold, tomatoes into sunbeams, and gruel into glory. You're quite a little starling tonight, aren't you? My third and final secret is this. Don't get a jabbering when there's work to be done. That cauldron still looks mighty cold to my eye. But come back later. I could speak about such things until dawn with nary a pose, but none of this batch of scouts takes the slightest interest, so a kindly ear is most welcome. Later. Oh, no, you don't. A chef's job is to feed his crew and keep 'em full, not get his own savour in the way. You just make the meal as you can, and old Rootsworth will be keeping a weather eye on everything else. Oh, yes, freebie. Quite the project, that one.
What do you mean?
On second thought, it's best I don't say anything. Ever. I've watched Laban grow from a tiny bundle of fur into that mountain he is now. He was birthed a fair bit too early by Lady Columbine's reckoning, and shaking her head claimed he'd not likely survive the afternoon. But he did, and the next one, and the next. His mother told me one morning that every day her little Dibbon still drew breath was another day she'd dance a jig, so happy she was to have her one and only child alive and thriving. And it weren't no exaggeration. Widow Rushwhittles danced every morning until her paws wore out. So now she sings,